Lionel Nelson here, and welcome to A Father's Note, promoting fathers through building men. It's so important that we always stand up for our fathers. We want you to know we're with you. We're standing behind you 110%. So as a man now, what would you say has been the most important lesson that you have learned and that has prepared you for marriage, because you're married now? Mm-hmm. Now, which was, I'm like, where did this come from? and of course, my wife and I, we were so grateful to the invitation mm-hmm. of you inviting us mm-hmm. To be there. What was the lesson growing up that the most important lesson that you would say that you learned that prepared you for marriage, for marrying this beautiful woman here?
To be honest with you, and this will be a real transparent moment for me, you know, I saw a lot of struggle when it pertained to marriage. My mother and father were divorced at the age of 2 when I was 2 years old.
Right.
And so I remember a lot of that stuff very vividly in terms of just how I felt and mm-hmm. you know, the separation and, you know, all of these different things. But one major thing I learned, and I didn't realize it until I became an adult, was that it's imperative to always make sure you have a mirror on yourself, that you always see yourself in every situation when it pertains to relationship. My wife and I had been, best of friends for years before, mm-hmm. We got into a relationship. And that was one of the biggest lessons I learned with her, that at the moment I feel like I'm going to come to her or go at her about something, I have to take a look at myself first. Wow. I have to make sure that the mirror is always on me, so that if I approach her with something, I'm also coming from a place of love and transparency, not just attacking her. And that's been super instrumental in our marriage, because, there are days where you just, you want to go at each other.
Right.
But when you take a step back and say, well, how could I have done that better? Or how could I have, approached the situation in a better way? Or, but that's been like a huge thing for my marriage. And of course, I bumped my head a couple times. And that's how I knew that. I was just like, man, that was really something God revealed to me.
Wow.
That it's like, if this is gonna last, you gotta constantly keep that mirror on yourself. You gotta constantly be looking at yourself in the mirror. Not saying you blame yourself for everything.
Right.
But just look at your part in every aspect of the marriage. So, and my wife has been great, because even when I'm like not doing the right thing, she works with me. Same thing with her. I work with her.
Wow.
We gotta constantly be working together.
Wow. So can you go a little bit further mm-hmm. Because it seems though your wife, Cara, has been such an instrumental person, along with family, as far as developing you into the man, first of all, husband, second, musician, third, that order is okay?
Right.
So what can you go any further as to the impact that she has had on your life, on your career and your life?
Career-wise, man, my wife she's very, how do I say? She's definitely not shy about how she feels about my worth.
Wow.
And a lot of times she's had to kind of make me take a step back and say, she's right. Meaning just in terms of so many different things, how I'm treated by certain artists or payment or all these different things, that she could really kind of be on the outside looking in and say, hey, that's not right, babe. That could be better. You may possibly need to walk away from that situation, or better yet, let's pray about that situation. And if God doesn't give you peace about it, let's walk away from it. She's been super instrumental in that way. And one how do I say, her being that transparent uh and making me aware of those things, she's allowed me to find peace in this industry. Because I mean, you know, a lot of musicians, man, a lot of times we think, or in any area of whatever,
Right.
a lot of times we think, man, struggle and you gotta struggle and you gotta, you know, scratch and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of times it's not that way, especially if you are a child of God and you're really listening to what God is telling you to do. She's helped me listen to God's plan for my life versus my own. You know,
Wow.
I would always have these, you know, this is what you're supposed to do to be successful and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times she's like, but God ain't necessarily say that to you.
Wow.
God ain't necessarily say that you have to go through that to get here.
Wow.
You know? And I'm just like you saying, wow, there be moments I'm like, man, oof. Because, you know, how many years I went through, like, okay, well, that's just paying my dues. And she looked at me like, paying your dues? What are you talking about? No, that's not what God thinks of you. So if God don't think that, why would you think that of yourself? Expect more. You know, you understand what you bring to the table, so you have to demand more. You know, so she's been great, man. She's been absolutely amazing.
You mentioned that you are friends for a while, and before you got married.
Right.
How long was the friendship?
Maybe about 4.5 years, something like that.
Okay, so we're talking about 4.5 years of being friends, and then you finally got married, and you've been married for a year and 7 months, for 19 months now. Why did you all wait so long to get married? What was the purpose behind that? When you could have gotten married after the first year, the second year, the third year. Well, why wait so long?
Logistically, there were just things that we knew that God needed to put in place before we could actually transition. Like I said, hindsight is 2020. We look back now and say, "Oh, that's why we had to wait," you know, or we're glad we didn't rush, or whatever. Even to digging into counseling when we decided to get married. Like, counseling was absolutely pivotal for our future. So we didn't rush, you know, that aspect of our journey either. We knew that counseling was gonna be the vehicle that we needed to even get to a place to where we were solid enough to get married. You know? So yeah, there's a lot of different things that came together, but yeah, we took our time. We really did take our time.